Yeah, good evening. We're late now. It's a pleasure now for me to talk a little bit more about blockchain, because you have seen elements of, like SMAPI, you have seen elements of different projects. You heard a lot of blockchain, and I will show you now what is the capability of blockchain in a microgrid management. So my name is Erwin Smole. I'm one of the co-founders of Grid Singularity. Grid Singularity is an Austrian-based startup, now 1 year old. We are developing blockchain application only for the energy market. So we have a very strong focus on the energy sector. It's Austrian-based, but we will move now to Berlin, the entire company, and the one and only remaining then in Austria. From the the company, there are 6 co-founders. Ebert is the CEO. Anna Trbovic is responsible for HR and legal, and then myself, I'm not a coder, I'm an energy expert. I'm working now since 20 years in the energy market. I started with a utility, so I know what's the thinking behind. I was the first employee of a regulation authority, responsible for market rules and grid code. So I know why at the moment grid codes and market rules and regulation are so difficult for blockchain, because when they were written 10 years and more ago, there was no blockchain. Nobody was expecting what customers intending to do with self-produced electricity. That's an open part there. And then we are combining the knowledge of the energy market with blockchain experts. This is Gavin Wood, Jutta Steiner, and Aaron Butcheron. They are also founders of Ethereum. So we have experts from the Ethereum combining this with the energy market. Vitalik Buterin is an advisory board of our company, and this is the core business. So whatever we are doing on the blockchain is based on Ethereum, and I will tell you a little bit later on the Energy Web Foundation. We are developing now a new blockchain, especially for the energy market. The reason behind this is very simple. The Ethereum is simply too slow and inefficient for the energy market. We need higher transaction volumes. We need much more faster blockchain in the energy market. So for our target, what we want to have is 1 million transactions in 1 second. This is something we want to achieve now in more or less 18 months from now. So only some few words about blockchain. I will not explain you what blockchain is. I will show you more what we can do with the blockchain. But the principle is it's a total decentralized system. We don't use centralized applications. It's totally decentralized. We need internet. There was one question: what do we need for this kind of applications? Internet is necessary. We use the internet, the capacity of internet, like a computer. So whatever is there, it's the resources there. So the speed of internet, it's limiting. This is the crucial part there. Smart contracts are machine contracts, very simple. If this then that is the same approach. The only thing what's different is, or in addition is, if you're executing this contract, you get paid at the same time. So for the electricity, somebody delivering the electricity to the neighbor, and then it stopped this supply, they automatically paying this without bank account or PayPal and anything. And this is the big change in the electricity market. Validation. Some of you know a little bit, I guess, about Bitcoin. Who is invested or who owns Ethers from Ethereum? Okay, so quite happy at the moment because they are growing better than, or the growth in the last 3 days was better than Bitcoin. So this is a very good approach, but for the energy market, it's not working. It's proof of work concept. It's too slow. It needs too much energy. We are already testing, so we don't follow with a proof of stake. We are already testing proof of authority. We're running a testnet. You see the link here, it's covan-stats.verity.io. There are 10 authorities already validating transactions, which we want to achieve with this. In the end of the day, 1 million transactions in 1 second. In good days, within the 10 authorities, we already got 100,000 transactions validated in 1 second on peak days. And it's online, so we let them test what hackers are trying to do on the clients, but this is our approach to go directly to the proof of authority. So for any kind of installation, we are totally software company. We don't want to do any kind of boxes. SMAPI has a very nice box. Other companies has a very nice box. We don't want to do this. We are focusing very strong on software. Nevertheless, we had to do our own box. The reason was utilities had some troubles to open data to the smart meter or to the meter. So there were long discussions, and then it was faster for us to make our own meter device, which is nothing else than a data logger, combining with connectivity, mainly with the SIM card module, some storage where the client is running there, and to get the data out. We have at the moment connected approximately 200 power plants since 1 year, just to get data from them, and this is for us to learn which kind of data we need from the power plants to run different blockchain applications. We can do the half of blockchain application we can do with existing Ethereum. Everything for certificates, which is not critical for the timing, can be done already very easily now. But if we are going really in operation, we need a new blockchain and much more faster system. Once the data are there, it's very easy to find them, and then it's something what everybody knows. You simply customer download an app, they run this on their own smartphone or on device, get the data from the blockchain, and the app is doing something what's prepared for this. So the system is very the same what we customers already know. The big difference behind is the payment process. You have a payment process with a cryptocurrency or with a token. This is the general approach. So then I want to show you what we have done. Talking to different utilities. So peer-to-peer trading was very easy. One neighbor is selling to another neighbor. This was a simple transaction of kilowatt hours. But then when we go into a microgrid, isolated grid, we have certain discussions. Let's say, I don't want to say troubles. The issues are who is managing the system, technically wise. Who is responsible for the primary control? Who is responsible for the reactive power? Who is responsible for the reserve? So usually the utility is responsible for this. In the island operation there is no utility, and what we did then is we took all the technical processes of a utility, where by the way the utilities always told to us, no, this is not possible with the blockchain, this is our core business. And when we explained them, okay, this is possible with the blockchain, it was very funny. Their response was, okay, then it's the regulator who is protecting us as a utility. It's the first time ever when they see the utility as a friend of them. So what we did, we took all the technical processes there, primary control, secondary control, minute reserve, reactive power, we put also reserve management as a transaction in the blockchain, writing a smart contract for this. And this is the main tool. This is now what we call the D3A. It's a kind of middleware, and based on this middleware, each individual application can run on this middleware. So that means if somebody makes a transaction, this tool then will manage who is delivering reactive power, who has capacity available. As a transaction smart contract is important because the smart contract get the signal, oracle frequency is going down, who can supply active power. Customers who have some reserve available of a battery or whatever they have now a financial incentive to serve this. Because in the integrated utility, who is responsible for the primary control? Now we have some kind of market with limited players, but in the past it was every generator have to keep 10% of the installed capacity free for primary control. That's it. No money back for nothing. So now we have a market here in market control. This is our D3. So what's also shocking for the utilities, when we started prototyping, this was on Monday, I was explaining them, I expected in the next 3 months I will not see the coders, I will have my time for something else. On Friday afternoon the prototype was running. So we put out the black and we have seen how the heat pump, the light, and the system is running. So so this is now the approach, and now it's closing the circle with map and also later what you see with, from the cell levels. We started on a household level, different devices. Refrigerator is buying electricity from their own PV installation. So each device gets a smart contract. In the smart contract, I'm defining what amount of electricity they could need, what's the price range they would pay. The PV installation, depending on the time, what amount of solar produced electricity is available, they are negotiating. There's a market trading agent behind. And this is the main functionality. What the customer can see is just how much money they have earned now if they're selling this to the neighbor, or how much money they have paid. From a market model, it's a pure nodal prices. What we see here is what we call to keep in regulation is a spot market. We can do this in 50-minute rust down, like most European countries. We can go down in a moment down to 10 seconds. And with the new blockchain, or even running on a private system, we can go down to 2 seconds in a moment, and next year will be on 1 second. You see some kind of balancing here. This is only to be compliant with regulation. Because what's funny is we need to have a forecast for the household. And then, so we send a forecast, nobody knows exactly when is the refrigerator open and closed. So we have a kind of delta, and this is what we are calling now balancing, just to be compliant with the regulation. Regulation is always a hot topic. It's funny, it's not limiting very strong the whole approach. If you know the regulation behind balance group system, what we ever have in Europe, the big advantage of the blockchain is if I have a smart contract, I don't need the forecast. Forecast is old style for the utilities because they have huge power plants, bulk power generation, they don't know when the customer needs them. In a smart contract, I just have a bilateral contract, and I'm just producing the electricity when the neighbor is needing this electricity, and paid directly. So there is no clearing necessary because it's automatically cleared with the smart contract. Forecast, if nobody is calling my electricity, I put them in storage. And otherwise I sell this directly to the neighbor. So the big change is capacity or batteries will have a certain part there, but the rest of regulation, majority of them are not necessary. We have an interface and API directly to the grid operators so that they get paid the grid usage, of course, and then we have also now interface, additional interface for the regulators. So this is the capability of the blockchain. So we have one household. We are putting now into the neighbors. Each of them have the same installation. So each household is starting to supplying themselves. If there is a delta of overgeneration or delta in demand, they're selling this directly to the neighbor. We also can cover storage. We have seen if there is a huge amount of PV installation, we combine with small storage. In the morning around 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning, when the small batteries are full, there's a huge jump spike in the injection to the grid. We're covering this with electric cars with a bigger storage of 100 kilowatt hours. So this is very easy then to install them. Each battery or electric car is their own trading agent. So they get the prices from the market, they inject in the electricity. You can define which amount of the battery is given to the market, which is kept to the electric car. So then from the neighbors you have a whole area and then a connection to the public utility. So at that point we are fully compliant with the regulation. We have the spot market, we have the balancing. Important part here is for the spot market, and this is the reason why we are talking with Sentinel, for example, the limiting of the smart contract is a forecast is approximately 50 minutes, or depending what the devices need. So in the forecast means at what time point the smart contract is buying the electricity. So if we get market prices, we get a comparison price from the public grid. Smart contract can wait at a certain amount, but at a certain point the smart contract has to buy. So we need kind of forecast, artificial intelligence, what's going in the next half hour, what's going in the next 3 hours. The problem for utilities, they can forecast for huge areas of households. They cannot make one forecast for one single household. It's too difficult for them. They don't have this huge amount of data. And what we see from the perspective is the best way is to do this with artificial intelligence. So another point, the capability of blockchain is, if we have a blackout here, or the utility has some troubles, we are losing the supply where the utility power plant is down. We have households here with this PV installation, usually it's shut down and everything is out of electricity. If there is blockchain there, and still, of course, internet, we need some PV installations there, we need a kind of battery, we need the flexibility of the households. When the frequency is going down, immediately the smart contract is getting activated, is checking what amount of demand I need, what amount of generation is available, is there a PV, is there a battery, is there a cogeneration, a small one, and starting immediately the supply. So instead of having a blackout here in the area, we still have electricity. And this is the big advantage of communities if they are trying to start themselves in their own supply. It's just an example now what we have in Austria, so-called Mieterstrom model. I want to skip this. So, some few words about the Energy Web Foundation. We have realized with the existing Ethereum, we cannot do this. We need a much more faster blockchain. So, luckily we have people like Kevin Wood on board and Jutta Steiner and Aaron. So they know quite well what the capability of Ethereum is, and now we are developing with them the next technology. So that next technology cannot be done by startups, simply too expensive. It takes a certain amount of time. That's the reason why we, together with the Rocky Mountain Institute of the United States, we initiated the Energy Web Foundation. The Energy Web Foundation is a non-profit organization based in Switzerland, where utilities are paying to this foundation, that the foundation is developing this new technology, the new blockchain. So we have, as we were one of the initiators, we get the contract for the technology for the first period. We are doing this together with BrainDot, with Parity, Slockit, and Grid Singularity. This is the core group at the moment, but it will be added in the near future with other startups. So what's also interesting is, once the blockchain is done, it will be available to the entire market for free. It's open source. The utility are paying something, which will be in the end of the day open source. Why they are doing this? These are the utilities, they have realized there is a change in the market. Not because of blockchain, the decentralized market is coming, customers are buying PV installation, they still don't know why they are doing this, but the market is changing. They are realizing this changing and they want to have access to the technology. They have their own business cases. The utilities who are paying now, they can bring in their own business case that the blockchain is really running for their own case. And the next one is, and this the Energy Web Foundation will issue, when the blockchain is ready, tokens for the transactions. And the first utilities, they get a voucher for a certain amount of transactions, and this is their case behind. So, this is the blockchain level. This will be open source for free. So every corporate or startup who is working in this area will have access very soon to first modules which will be ready. The architecture will be published online in approximately 2 months. In October, November, there will be the first module online to test. So all the startups check there, stay online, write an email to the authority, there will be a special group that you get very early involved in this ecosystem. For the startups, it's free. The utilities, they have the money and they pay for this. The next issue is the intersection or the API to device to the vendors. So this is at the moment ongoing. They are protecting their devices, and now we see more and more companies asking if they can have access to this technology. The deal is simply you have access to the technology if you open the interface to devices to your own SCADA system. And the yellow one, this is the business model. So whenever you have an app, it's running on a blockchain, and this is where you can start your own business case on a transaction, pay-per-use, or whatever you have. So these are the startups where we are talking already, or they asked us already if they can join. So it's strong, it's growing very strong in the energy sector and in the blockchain market. Last one, these are the first 2 companies. The round A is closed now, since approximately 3 weeks. The second round will start now by 1st of August. We will open it for additional 20, maximum 40 utilities. It's over the entire group. That's one of the reasons why it's in Switzerland, because in Switzerland it's much more easier to combine all the different legal systems. TEPCO is from Japan, TWL is from Germany, we have Centrica there, we have Shell there, Elia is a TSO from Belgium, Sempra is there, so this is the first group of the 10 utilities. These are the technology provider, and the foundation council of the 5 people are 2 from Rocky Mountain Institute, 2 from Grid Singularity. According to Swiss law, one of the members have to be from Switzerland, so Swiss people. And in our case, it's very luckily we got Christoph Frey. Christoph Frey in the same role is General Secretary from the World Energy Council. And this is a very good combination within this Energy Foundation. Okay, that's it. And open up for
questions. Sorry, just to understand your concrete business model, because I know the Slockit is also working with RWE, right? And they are working on the Ethereum smart contracts.
Yeah.
So does your private blockchain complement or?
Okay. It's not a private blockchain; it's an open blockchain.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you're going to start your own blockchain, you are not going to use the Ethereum one, right? With the
no, we will Ethereum. We will adopt Ethereum.
Okay.
We will adopt the Parity client to be more faster. But the energy blockchain will be again like the Ethereum. This is open source. It's open blockchain. It's not a permission blockchain or something else.
So you will be working with the energy providers to use the grid, not only the grids, but also to exchange the energies and the.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is their case, so they have to learn. The issue for the utilities, either they are learning now what's the technology and find a business case there, because customers, they want to buy and sell by their own. It's the first time ever they are able to do this now, because PV installations are very cheap at the moment and they can do this. So this is on one hand. On the other hand, they lay back and say, no, we are still regulated and we are trying to protect. And they will have the same learning effect like in the renewable energy market.
And just a small question about the device you talked about, that you are going to use it for.
The grid wise, the box here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So is it also interoperable with all of those systems, or
No,
it's a unique for the smart contract?
This box was just for the first proof of concept.
Okay.
Because it was difficult for us, or it took us too long to discuss the utility, which kind of data we want. So it was much faster and easier for us to build our own box, connect them, and get out the data. So we don't sell this box. We don't do them.
Okay.
We don't want to make a box.
Okay.
We are not hardware experts.
Okay.
Did you use proof of work initially and then switch to proof of authority or something?
We are starting already with proof of authority.
What is proof of authority?
Proof of authorities is there are specific authorities. They are responsible for the validation. So their main job is the validating of the different processes, and also and this is the difficulty here, is it must be open. So it's not in our case, it cannot be a permission system. So the authorities should not be in a position and say you are allowed to participate and you are not allowed to participate. Everybody can participate, same like as in Bitcoin. So if you are starting mining, you don't need to ask somebody. The same is in the electricity market, but we need some rules that the PV installation is really a PV installation and what kind of transactions behind it.
Yeah, we always talk about the smart grid and everything, with the exchange of energy, and but I was thinking about that the infrastructure is already on the ground.
Yeah.
How we're going to manage to change this I mean, how does it work? I mean, everything is there, but is it only need to have like a different input switch to make it transfer to another house?
Once the lines are already there, then we simply need to add the software. So we need to put the client there. We need to if we have access to the smart meter, in the smart meter there is this little bit of storage where the client is running this. So in the end of the day, the physics behind it, the cable is the same. We need physical connection to between the houses and to the neighborhood. This is the same. The question is how to operate this.
Okay.
But the infrastructure is necessary.
Yes. And how long is it going to take to have all this infrastructure in the city and everywhere?
So a test rollout?
Yes.
It depends on the functionality behind what the trading agent should do. In this case, this was the meter strom. So this is in Austria a test. In Austria there is now a new legislation. Within one building we have on a rooftop a huge PV installation. Now the different partners within that building, they are allowed to sell and buy electricity. So at the moment when they need a public grid, it's not allowed. So for us, make the E3E ready for this installation, go there, install the software. This was 1.5 weeks. To train the people what is a wallet, took us 3 weeks. So in Europe the people are not aware what is a wallet. It's better in Africa, they are much more aware of this. And so this was the overall project, but the period for the discussion with the utility, the own project management, this was a period of nearly 6 months. So the technical part is very fast. This was a project of approximately 2 months.
What do the utilities pay to be part of the Energy West Foundation?
250,000 euro each of them. There is one gold ticket if they want stronger involved, sending people there to work directly. They pay 500,000. But the average ticket there was.
I know that the Thai utility is very keen to join the second round.
Is this PTT?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know since 4 hours. The problem is they were allowed only 10 was the maximum. So the call was the first 10 they are in. and PTT was the PTT and two others were the 11th, but we have good information for that.